You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
And it's your boy, Evan Closky.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. No Ulises today as he is recovering from an illness of late, so prayers to him. It'll be Evan and I holding the fort on a Friday episode, and Evan, a interesting wild series against the Minnesota Twinkies up north. All three games were one-run contest, and it took the Rays 2 walk-offs to get it done and win the series. How about that?
Yeah, and in that final game as well, that probably should have been an extra innings affair if P. Fairbanks doesn't try to field the ball with his bare hand and just allows Brandon Lau to field it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But, reactions are reactions. I don't really, I'm not the one that's got 100-something EV coming at my face. So, I'm not going to be the one that comments on that. But, yeah, it just it was a gauntlet. I mean, just a kind of a display of where we think the Rays are, which is good enough to be the final wild card team in the American League. That's where they sit. That's like their ceiling, right? And the Twins were super hot entering this series, and arguably they should have won that first game in the series as well. So, really to win a series in their house, riding I think a 5 or 6 game winning streak when they started this series. That's a job well done. It's just, man, it's few and far between where Rays fans can watch a game, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, there aren't many games seemingly where the Rays just pull out a 7-2 victory.
We thought it was going to be the last one. It was going to be a 6-2.
Yeah, basically. And then you enter in some bullpen issues, and there you go. You really have to push it forward. I'm sure people betting for the Rays or however they're betting, they're making it's making their skin curl a little bit to some extent.
Certainly the not hitting that under probably ticked off a lot of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So overall in this series, I mean, are you pleased with, besides the win, do you feel like the Rays are playing better baseball as a whole, or they're kind of squeaking out and getting some lucky W's here and there?
I don't want to say like lucky W's. This is just the team that they are. They're a team that can't score consistently. Again, another series where they were pretty horrible with runners in scoring position. The Twins were too, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
Littell didn't have his best stuff again. I was listening to Doug Wechter on the radio. He thinks that maybe he's got some fatigue going, like hitting a little bit of a midseason wall. But Littell was able to kind of fight through it and give them some length. I think Taj Bradley, he continues to showcase his abilities. The long ball continues to burn this squad. And then, what was it? Who pitched in the first game? Was it Eflin? Wow, I'm already blanking on this.
Was it Savali?
Savali, thank you. Yeah, the first L was Savali and Armstrong and Deuce, to be honest. So we have a team where we know that it's going to be few and far between to score some runs. They actually are hitting better. I'll give them that. In the whole, they're still they still go through terrible lulls in games with little blips of, there it is.
Right.
Most of the pitching is solid, except we kind of know who Aaron Savali is at this point. And we know that one bullpen guy at least is going to have an awful outing out of nowhere. And we know that this team is going to fight till the end. Whatever ugly warts this squad has, they have proven time and time again, you cannot turn them off for good or for bad in the 9th inning. They do battle all the way until the end. And it was very unfortunate what happened with Davinsky and with Fairbanks in the ninth inning, but also credit to Jose Siri and Yandy Diaz, who tacked on the insurance runs to give them the pad to at least win this game. I mean, those are huge runs. So they kind of just continue to reiterate who they are. They're going to have to win by the skin of their teeth for 95% of their games. And it's just it's really just a tough way to live life. Yeah. And they were able to do it in 2022. And it was painful back then for fans watching. And it's painful right now. The only difference is it's not as crispy as it was in 2022. And that's because the ceiling of pitchers just isn't as high right now at this club.
Right. On the bright side, the bats seemingly are picking up. Yandy Diaz has been on a run. Randy Arozarena is doing better of late. And as far as amazing moments, Jose Siri, it seems like late in the ball game, whether it's with his arm, his glove, or his bat, he's won a couple ball games pretty much by himself this season.
A couple. I mean, Jose Siri this past month, I don't know where the Rays would be without Jose Siri, and again, just a lesson for all fans out there who wanted to throw him aside after kind of, early-ish May, these are the ramifications, right? Like he is turning it around. Randy is turning it around. Yandy is certainly turning it around, but let's go back. The last win against the Twins, Jose Siri written all over it. Mm-hmm. The win in Atlanta, Jose Siri written all over it. The win in Baltimore, Jose Siri written all over it. Two Oakland wins. I mean, we're talking like 6 games.
He should have like 4 WAR to his name, and right now it's probably at like 0.5 or something on Fangraphs.
Yeah, seriously, these past 3 weeks have been, they've won 3, 6, I think 9, 10, we'll say 10 games. They won 10 games. 6 of the 10, Jose Siri written all over it. I don't know if you win those games without Jose Siri. That's the difference between looking like the White Sox and being like, hey, we're sort of still trying to be in the mix.
On a positive note, if the Rays somehow find a way to score a run or multiple runs in the playoffs, you would at least think you could rely upon Siri to have a big moment or two and not shining away from the bright lights and so forth.
I just want to say very quickly, it was very interesting watching Siri pinch hit, I believe, in game 1. He came in to face Duran, and Duran did not throw him a fastball. He threw him a bunch of off-speed stuff. That, I'm just saying, that's the kind of respect that he's now getting from the top tier arms. That Duran and everybody have seen all the clips of him hitting off of Mason Miller and what he's done. And he hit another home run. Iglesias, right? He has, out of his 9 home runs, 3 of them have come in the 9th inning. 5 have come after the 6th inning. So when the pressure, he's kind of getting a little bit of that Randy in him where when the stage gets a little bit bigger, he locks in.
Do you buy into this at all when DeLuca got healthy and was called up, that put a kick in Siri's butt of I really need to get rolling here in multiple facets and put my full forth effort and, do what needs to be done and try to play up to my potential, because he's uber talented. Of course, he has some flaws like every other baseball player pretty much, but it seemed like there were times where, I don't know, there was some lollygagging and he really wasn't he wasn't living up to what he could be.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of a little bit of pressure of you're doing really badly. At that time, DeLuca was doing unbelievably. Yeah. And
we're basically saying that, hey, we're ready to get rid of Siri.
The roles have, not that anyone wants to get rid of DeLuca, but the roles have definitely reversed in 1 month's time on the perception of DeLuca and Siri, complete reversal, right? So again, that just shows you the baseball world of big picture, small picture. But I think there is a mixture of DeLuca came up, he succeeded. They benched Siri for a week or so. I mean, he had that awful dropped ball. It was bound to happen with the amount of hot dogging he does out there, which is part of his swag, and I'm a big proponent of it. Like, he's a vibes guy. I rock with the vibes. So I want him vibing at 10, up 10-0, down 0, down 10 at all times, because, that's just, I'm not one of those curmudgeons. So that's right. As long as you're consistent, I don't care. Randy Arozarena, he's always going to do the arm lock thing. Do I find it annoying when you're like losing 9-1 and you hit a home run and you do it? Yeah, I do, but he's done it. He does it in the highs and he does it in the lows. And as long as you're consistent, I don't care. But I do think part of it was the pressure from somebody else, a little bit of accountability, a little bit of letting it slip and stinking, and then some natural, regression, some positive regression, right? He was like, even DeLuca, he's not like he's not this bad. It's going to turn around eventually. Now we can have a whole separate topic on DeLuca, but the point is like, I think a few episodes ago, a few weeks ago, you asked me like Brandon Lau or Randy. And I said, like, I would still take Randy because he's too good of a darn player to suck this much. And you're seeing it in June. He's been a completely different player in June. He's got more walks than strikeouts. So, I mean, he's looking like 2023 April Randy right now. So he's fully getting back to strength here after just a miserable 2 months.
That instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look really good? That's what you can get with Stitch Fix. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, size, and budget, and they do all the shopping for you. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe this season. Just give your stylist at Stitch Fix your size, style, and budget preferences. Order boxes when and how you want. No subscription required. They'll send you 5 just for you pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. Keep what works and send back the rest. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. You don't have to shop around, and you ultimately save time and effort. Plus, you get outfits that make you look and feel really good as well. And if you don't love something, you just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Now's the time to get started at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $100 off. That's $25 off your first 4 fixes for a limited time only. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $100 off. So good, I'll repeat it again. stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign up. The offer does not include kids' fixes. Okay, so the Rays now face the Pirates in a 3-game set, and the only thing I'm really interested in seeing, is if the Rays get to face and have the pleasure of facing Paul Skeens. I don't know how
it looks like on Sunday.
Ooh, that should be fun.
I'm betting the under.
Yeah, bet the
under. Betting the run on unders for the Rays. Betting the under on runs for Rays, and then betting the over for Ks on Skeens.
So you see Skeens. I know he's gotten off to an amazing start since making his major league debut. Is he that next line of pantheon great starters that when it's all said and done, he might have a couple Cy Youngs to his name, and Cooperstown could be calling, or at least he's a guy that's going to be really, really, really good for a very long time.
If you had to say, at this moment, is he on, like, are you going to say that, he's going to be a Hall of Famer or not? Like at this moment, my guess is he's on that trajectory. It's just with, with pitchers, he blows out his elbow and game over. Right. And somebody who throws that arm, I'd say he's probably going to blow out his arm. Like Steven Strasburg blew out his arm and then went through a whole litany of other injury issues. It's just, it's very tough to live in that world. But
have the durability of a Scherzer, a Verlander, and all that. I mean, I remember when Strasburg was called up, and Strasburg has had a really good career, but he was like must-watch television. He was the talk of the town when he made his debut in those first couple starts after that. I think ESPN was doing like live look-ins on SportsCenter and so forth with that.
Skeens is that type. I think it's a little bit of a different world. I think it shows you just kind of where maybe baseball has fallen.
Yeah.
It's fallen a little bit out of grace nationally. But if you like Skeens is that ilk of like when Steven Strasburg came up, his debut and all this stuff, and the way that he's performed. Like he'd probably go into the All-Star game like with a few more of these great starts. So and he didn't come up till like what, mid-May? So
right.
Or end of May. So yeah, I think that I think he is the real deal. And if you look, I mean, the Rays have had sometimes it's weird. Sometimes two negatives make a positive, right? You have like a bad offense versus an amazing pitcher, and all of a sudden the offense is able to kind of click on that night or that day, if it's a day game. So I'm very excited for that. And certainly those are one of those games where you say, hey, just eat pitches, try to rack up his pitch count and get him out of this game as soon as possible.
Yeah, that game could be over in 2 hours and 5 minutes, depending on how it.
Yeah, I mean they get Jones and Skeens, so they're really. I mean, for an offense that, look, I mean, I'll say this: the Rays' last 4 games, 8, 6, 3, 7. So that we're pretty much like living. Like we're in a buffet line of runs right now compared to what we have seen in the past. So,
enjoyed, yeah, because the week and a half before that, they couldn't played across more than 3 runs.
3, 0, 2, 2, 5, 3, 3, 3. So yeah, I mean, I'm not throwing another 2. So yeah, I mean, look, they're as bad as it was. Like eventually, right? They're gonna have a week, not just now. They're gonna have another week in the future where they're going to win like 5 to 6, and they're going to have like score more than 5 runs in 4 or 5 of those games.
Yeah.
That's part of the cyclical approach. But more often than not, they're going to be a team that gets 3 or 4 or less. Like 4 or less is probably where they live, the predominant amount.
That's fair. All right, before we move on to baseball trivia, Name That War, I want to give you, Evan, a couple of
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky.
All right, that's enough of that. The first one I have is, other than Isaac Paredes, who would you consider to be the Rays' next most deserving All-Star?
Oh, man. Oh, not a lot of great options out here running through it. Oh, boy. Is this a problem that I don't really have a good answer here? I don't know who would be the next All-Star outside of Isaac Paredes. I don't know if there's truly anyone deserving. I mean, if I had to make a stab at it, oh boy, I guess Pete Fairbanks, like Ahmed Rosario, I don't know. Like, I mean, as far as like WAR is concerned, there's not really anybody registering for them. I mean, like Zach Littell, it might be number 2, but he's had a couple of bad starts. They have 2 guys. You know who the other guy is going to be? Jason Adam. There you go.
There we go.
Jason Adam. There's the answer.
I mean, the fact that you had to struggle to come up with it's one more name and the Rays are basically at 500, it's kind of remarkable that they're where they're at right now.
It's very true. But yeah, it's Isaac, and it's like Isaac, large gap, Jason Adam, large gap.
Yeah.
And like nobody else.
Well, it's funny. I get, Rays newsletters and email blasts and so forth, and they're saying, vote now, vote All-Star, vote for Isaac, vote for Yandy, and vote for Randy. I'm like, you cannot be serious with
actually, that. David and I have talked about that, and our joke is, look, I send it out. I did my job. I sent you the newsletter. I sent you the tweet. Look, I'm just here to cash my paycheck and tell you that you should vote for this person. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you. I did my job. Okay, I can go home happy.
I mean, it really is crazy, and people are actually going to still vote for Yandy and Randy. They'll have votes, as crazy as it is.
Look, All-Star Game is a popularity contest with the voting. Yeah. But in the end, if that's who people want to see, and they're the ones that are rushing out the vote, then albeit I hate when it just stinks when someone gets snubbed as far as like making the game, period. But look, whether you start or not, who cares, right? Sometimes it's actually better to come off the bench because that's how you win the MVP.
Right.
I mean, Yandy Diaz was like super close to winning the MVP last year. So like if that I forget the catcher who hit it for the Rockies, if he didn't hit his home run, like Yandy Diaz was probably going to win it.
Right. I think it was Ulises Diaz, maybe.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that aside, next question. Here at the Locked On Rays podcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs. It's year-round with the Tampa Bay Rays here. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Yep, that's right. Just because tax season is over does not mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. So don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked-on. So good, I'll repeat all of that again. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked-on. Which Rays player would you buy stock in for the rest of the season? As far as from now until the end of the year, they're going to go on a tear, whether it's offense or pitching or all combined.
We're kind of seeing it right now with Yandy Diaz, but he's usually a guy that floats around like a 300 average. I think he's kind of up to like 264. But I would bet heavily that a guy like Yandy Diaz is going to climb his average up by the end of it another 20 points, I'll say, to really to go on this full run. Beyond that, I would say that from a pitching perspective, I think that Ryan Pepiot is going to show us the ace capabilities as we get closer to the end of the season. He also might hit a wall, which could be the counterbalance to what I'm saying. But I think Pepiot's got the goods. He just, once he kind of gets into that fifth and sixth and learns how to navigate the back two innings that he got to get through, I think the Rays have like a future Tyler Glasnow on their hands.
Yeah. And then conversely, which Rays player would you sell stock from now into the end of the season where you could possibly see the wheels coming off on said player?
As far as a stock selling, that's a good question. I mean, I think that I think Ahmed Rosario hitting 300 is way too high. I don't think he's somebody who's gonna be living there too much. I should also say Josh Lowe is going to go on a run too because he hasn't been good. I would also say that, I guess I'll just settle with Ahmed Rosario. I've liked what I've seen. I've actually loved what I've seen from an average perspective. But if the average goes away, you got zero production because he doesn't walk. So There could be a stint where he's like 0 for 25, and it's just like, holy crud, this guy has only gotten on base once in like a week and a half, right? So I'll go with Ahmed Rosario. We're really at like that inflection point where guys who stunk are going up a little bit, and guys who already were on a heater, like let's say Ben Rortvedt, Jose Caballero from like April or whatnot, they've already come back down to earth. So like to an extent, like Richie Palacios, to an extent, he's kind of living where he's supposed to be right now. So.
Which is good. I mean, I think he's a solid piece and a solid player, and hopefully he will be for years to come.
I'll say this. More players are on the way up than down. So that's like in general, we're going to see a team, whether now whether they still have the random bullpen blowups or whoever wants to suck that day that ruins the positive regression, separate story. But on the whole, more players on this date, like when we talk next month, July 20th, we will have more players to be happy about than sad about from where their numbers are right now.
That better be the case, hopefully.
At least my assumption.
All right, good stuff there. Let's wrap things up with a little baseball trivia and Name That War, because Ulises is not in the fold today. I will be serving Evan baseball trivia. He will be giving me Name That War. My question is in regards to Pirates history. I guess I need to switch it up at some point, but I like looking at the home run list of individual teams, and right now that is what I have in front of me. The Pirates' career home run leaders of all time. 1 to 10, I want 5 names.
McCutchen.
Andrew McCutchen is number 4 on this list with 225.
Kiner.
Ralph Kiner, number 2 on this list with 301.
I got a few names floating in my head right now. Roberto Clemente?
Roberto Clemente, number 3 on this list with 240.
Willie Stargell?
Willie Stargell, number 1 on this list by a wide margin, 475. I went too easy with you.
Oh, man. This is... oh, boy. This is where I'm hitting my brick wall, though. Who are part of those big teams? I'll go Jason Kendall.
Jason Kendall, strike 1.
Oh.
You have Stargell, Kiner, Clemente, McCutchen. Amazingly, you didn't do it in order, but those were the top 4. That's amazing that you got that.
My Lord. I gotta think of like some outfit. I'm trying to think back to those like playoff teams they had. Ramirez. Ramos Ramirez.
Strike 2.
Jason Bay.
You guessed Jason Kendall. Now you guess another Jason Bay, and you would be correct. Very good.
Oh.
He is number 9 on the list with 139. So good on your part. I'll run through the names here. Stargell 1, Kiner 2, Clemente 3, McCutchen 4, somebody named Barry Bonds 5.
Oh my God. I'm an idiot. God.
Somebody
I literally
named,
just saw him all day on the telecast. What am I doing?
Somebody named Dave Parker, number 6 with 166. Brian Giles, number 7.
Brian Giles was. Oh, I thought I was gonna be an idiot saying that name. Oh my God.
165. I didn't know if you were gonna guess like Nate McCluth or something like that. Frank Thomas, number 8 with 163. Bay 9 and 10. Might have heard of him. Probably have. Bill Mazeroski with 138.
I literally was gonna say Brian Giles, and I was like, I think did he spend most of his time? I was like, Padres, Braves. It's like, he probably wasn't there as long as I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that I regret that. I regret Bonds.
Oh, it's all good.
I made it harder than it had to be.
All right. What's your Name That War now?
The funny part is the Name That War. I also went Pittsburgh related, and I hit a wall, and I had to go with him. What was the lowest home run total on that? With
138.
Yeah, so Jason Kendall has 75 home runs, and Kendall was going to be my choice.
Okay.
Did you see anything with Jason Kendall?
Did I see any? No, I did not. I just looked at the first 10 names, and I'm good. I gave you 75 home runs for Jason Kendall, but Jason Kendall was my guy. Okay.
So that is my Name That War.
Well, Jason Kendall, I know he made many all-star appearances, probably had to be close to a 300 hitter. I assume a couple gold gloves as well. You mentioned the home runs, but I'd imagine he had quite a few base hits and doubles in his name. Not quite Hall of Fame level, played probably 12, 13 years if I had to ballpark it, bottle all that up. And I am going to say that Jason Kindle's career WAR is 40.
Okay. So he was a 15-year player. He had 75 home runs, a career batting average of 288, north of 1,000 runs, 744 RBI, 189 stolen bases, a 366 OBP, a 744 OPS, a slugging of 378, and he went to 3 All-Star games, and his WAR is 41.7.
I promise I didn't look it up.
You beat me because beforehand I did 35.4. And that was mine when I was like, I'm going to guess before I look it up. But I couldn't on this. I'm trying to see if he did. I'm sure he did win a Gold Glove here or there. But he's also a former first-round pick out of Torrance, California.
Is there any way, probably 50 years old now, any way we can bring him out of retirement and be the backup catcher for the Rays? Just saying.
They could use him. They certainly could use him.
Yep, that's for sure. All right, Evan, good stuff. How can people find your amazing work at WTSP?
Head to 10tampabay.com. We're pumping out some stories right now. Again, the other sports reporter here at 10 Tampa Bay, David Shealy, doing a great job with that. So you can find that all online on our 10 Tampa Bay YouTube page, 10 Tampa Bay Plus as well. So check all that stuff out. And then as far as me, you can follow me at Closky WTSP on the X. Yep. And I will respond 99% of the time, unless you're a jerk. That's where the 1% comes in, and you probably get muted or blocked or whatever. But it's quiet season, so we're talking Rays. Olympics will be coming up soon. A lot of local stories coming your way, but we're all over it.
Well, before you know it,
next month we'll see. We got a lot of stuff coming down with the Trop, so that's gonna,
Oh yeah.
Right now, tentatively July 11th is circled on my calendar, so we'll see if that comes to fruition.
And then you'll have football training camp as well. The old pigskin and footy ball, and Baker Mayfield leading the Bucks to the Super Bowl. About
a month from now, the Buccaneers will report to camp. It's on the 23rd. Yeah. So we're going to enjoy this month. We get peace and quiet for a month, and and we're going to soak that in while we can.
The biggest thing happening over the next couple of weeks is the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. That's what we have.
My hidden talent. I once ate 8 dogs in 10 minutes to win a hot dog eating contest on a cruise ship.
Good for you. I think it must be a New York thing. Maybe you have that breeded in you, the ability to eat hot dogs.
The reason I did it was because I was 22 at the time, and the grand prize for winning it was like a bucket of beer on the cruise ship, which would have cost me like, I don't know, $88 to $100. I said, screw it, I'll eat some hot dogs. And I ate way too many hot dogs. I was belly up for 24 hours.
Yeah, you didn't leave the bathroom the rest of the trip.
Couldn't drink any of those beers, considering I just consumed 8 hot dogs in 10 minutes. So that was a regret in my life. Lesson learned. But yeah, that is a fun story, and I still have the trophy that the cruise ship gave me because of it.
Yeah, you should have it in the backdrop of your screen right
I'll leave it. Yeah, the trophy actually is next to one of my Emmys, so that's the funny juxtaposition.
Well, we know what's more important there out of those trophies. So
there's a reason why it's there to showcase, because it's important. It's a talent of mine. I worked hard for that.
If you worked hard, you practiced a little bit more, you could get up to Joey Chestnut's level. But,
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. All right, Evan, we appreciate it. Hope you all, in the meantime, have a wonderful day. Stay safe. And we will talk to you next week.